Hello and welcome to Test Your Might, episode 105. We've got some fun stuff ahead of us today with a new guest. Of course, this is Test Your Might, the premier video game debate show on the interwebs, and we'll be discussing video game board games, PS5s finally in stock, and much, much more. Just before we start, if you are listening to us on a podcatcher, your favorite podcatcher of choice, make sure you leave us a review down below, 5 stars if you like us. That is on Spotify, of course. Apple, iTunes, podcasts, that's the best place to listen to us, and leave a review down below. And if you're looking at us, you already see we have a new guest. We're going to keep it up. YouTube, subscribe up there, bell notification, likes, bring it all. Keep us going on the road to 100 and everything else in the future that we're bringing. But yeah, let me introduce the panel real quick. We're going to get the gut section for the new guest here. But Sean, how have you been?
I've been good. I've been missing here. It's been too long.
And we have a new guest, like I said. Rachel, how are you this evening?
I am doing mighty well. How about yourself?
Of course, the duck is always good. And you're a fan of the show. You've listened to a couple episodes, and you might have the guts to answer a few of these questions. I
really hope so. I heard a lot of Skyrim talk. I heard a lot of Fallout talk, and those are some of my number ones. So I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And speaking of number ones, that rolls right into a transitional of our guts segment, getting to know you. What is your favorite game of all time?
Well, hands down, it's probably going to have to be Fallout 4. Incredible game. Now, if we have to start talking about Fallout 76, then we're going to fall out there. Haha, no pun intended. But I wish I would have started with like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, because I did play New Vegas after I had completed Fallout 4. And I just felt like I lost a little bit of that. I can't find a word to just explain it, like glamour of the gameplay, but I still enjoyed it. The New Vegas version was very on point with a lot of like the major landmarks and stuff that we have here. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, New Vegas is a lot of people's favorite Fallout game. It's really 3 in that for the old school games, at least. Sean, you want to take on the next question with guts?
Sure. What do we got? What is your favorite console of all time? Me?
Go ahead, Rachel. Favorite console of all time. I know it's a hard choice.
Favorite console. It's gonna have to go down to Nintendo products in general. The Switch probably has been my favorite. Going between that and, having the DS and the Game Boy Color and all of those OGs. I've been a very loyal Nintendo fan, mostly for the Legend of Zelda series. I still have it, my Nintendo 64. So I would literally get a Nintendo device, as awful as that sounds, just so I could be able to play that next installment.
Which was your favorite Zelda by chance? I'm off the beaten path, but all the Zeldas you've played, which one?
Probably Majora's Mask. Only because of that freaky moon that is approaching you the entire time, so it kind of lights a fire under your butt. Yeah, it scares me.
Yeah, no, that's
so.
But
I was asking, are you just mainline Zelda, or are you hitting like the Link's crossbow trainings and like the Crypt of the Necrodancer crossovers and stuff?
I mean, I tried a little bit, but your girl really is just more of a main storyline kind of gal. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was playing when I was a kid, I'd print out the 100-page walkthrough sometimes, and my parents would be very upset with me because I had used all the printer ink.
Oh, it is. Those manuals are huge. Yeah, an N64 title for the win. That's great though. Next question. If you had to live in a video game world, which world would it be? From which game?
Skyrim, hands down.
Dragons? Yeah, dragons?
I am Dovahkiin. Like, I am the Dragonborn.
All right.
I
You
don't
know.
come to mess around. I'm a very vamp life, vamp lordess. While I've put about, so I play on the original version that I started to play on was on Xbox, and then I was kind of one of those that got turned off by the beginning, and then I stopped playing. And then years later, they made the port for Switch, and it was great for what it was, and I'm very appreciative of it. I still fell in love with it, and I grinded like, yeah, I think so far like 200 hours, which is nothing in comparison to some folks. But
Were you one of the few that got the akimbo like little Zelda to get the Master Sword in Skyrim? Because you can do
I
that
should've.
on your Switch.
I
You
didn't
just
know
get the
that.
little character, you put it on there, and it spawns the Master Sword in Skyrim for Switch only.
Wow.
That's a
I
thing.
guess I'll be going and ordering that right after this.
Oh, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, take the last question on the gut section for it.
All right. Last but not least, Desert Island video game franchise. If you're alone on a desert island, which franchise do you want? You have internet access if you need it.
Game franchise, probably Pokemon Go.
Like
Second.
Pokemon, like all Pokemons?
All Pokemon, because I've started to collect cards, and I've started to take it more seriously now as an adult. I got into it, called myself a fake fan for a while for just playing Pokemon Go. Took a couple years break after 2016, came back. Happy to report 39, grind to 40. But probably, yeah, the Pokemon franchise for sure.
Oh, you'll definitely get the updated version of Scarlet when they release it, because it comes on a boat, so it'll be playable hopefully at that point when it comes out. Let's hope for it. But Pokemon Snap was always one of my favorites.
Oh,
That's off the beaten path. All right.
I have that on 64 as well.
Yeah, that's I got the new one, and it was nostalgia for sure. It didn't hook me very much though. All right, have you guys been watching Last of Us, the HBO
I have
show?
not.
Okay,
I have not.
all right, well, it's a spoiler-free episode update for episode 3 this week. I'm the only one here that's seen it, so I will say tears were shed, and it was awesome. It was an excellent episode that took you to a different part of the wasteland, and a different feelings about the wasteland, and different how they took it. And it was an emotional roller coaster. It was great. But yeah, that's 5 out of 5. If I could give it 6, I would for episode 3. Let's go into what have we been playing. Let's go over to Rachel first. Rachel, what have you been playing lately?
Actually picked back up Skyrim.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've been getting back into it, realizing that not necessarily, because I try to play as much as I can to all sides, and kind of still try to. I try to keep the peace, but you eventually have to make some decisions without, making spoilers. But I'm really going through and just going back and enjoying, still in my original gameplay. I'm not really quite there yet as far as creating a whole new, story for myself. I'm enjoying the power I have right now. So definitely Skyrim.
Good. I also picked that up recently. But yeah, over to Sean. What have you been playing?
I've been trying out a couple things. Less though than usual because I started grad school for the semester. But I played Deep Rock Galactic with some friends last week. And it's been something I've been meaning to try for a bit. It's like your dwarves and like it's like kind of it's sci-fi miners when you go into like mines and stuff. Some aliens attack you. You got to like defend yourself and get in, get out with the stuff. It's some pretty like fun multiplayer chaos.
First-person shooter? You're playing a first-person shooter?
It's a first or a third. I don't know, but yeah, it's a shooter. Yeah, I'm playing it. I do those when they're squad based. I like those. That's why it's been on my radar. Yeah.
Making your way to Call of Duty because it's going to be your game of the year, right?
Yeah, I did say that, didn't I? Yeah. There's still a chance. Yeah. It does have to compete with this other game that I had been waiting for it to be playable. 13 Sentinels came out on the PS4 like 3 or 4 years ago. It had been on my radar ever since then. It's a mech game that's like half battling with mechs, half like weird sci-fi anime time travel, like visual novel about these high schoolers that have to get in the robots. And just from like the first moment, it like had me with just like a bunch of like not quaints. I'm struggling with the words, but just like kind of eccentric. The eccentricities of this story are hitting with me very well. So like when in the visual novel portion, the way you like solve things as like an adventure game is you have like thought bubbles of things to consider. And one of the first, so it'll be like either like this tape that someone handed you, or like the robot that you might eventually pilot, or in the case of like the third one I got, cute guy. And just so I took a picture immediately. It was like cute guy, hit X to consider, and I was sent a picture to everybody because I was like, "This is my game."
Wow, it looks awesome for sure. Yeah,
yeah. But I'm loving that. I haven't finished it yet, just because again, time crunch. But it's definitely a contender.
Also on Switch, Rachel.
Yeah, that's why I'm finally playing it, because I never got a PS4.
Aegis Rim, I think. Aegis Rim?
Yeah, that's the colon. You don't even need it. But yeah, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim.
As for myself, playing a little Marvel Snap still. Was able to try out battle mode, which is you can play against friends with codes. Don't need to worry about losing cubes, which is really nice. You might find this funny, Sean. I played against Mike, and he beat me with a rock. Threw a rock at me and hazmated me like 8 times.
Amazing.
Which made the rock a -8 and killed me with a rock.
I do love that a lot.
Rare occurrence. Very sad. I screenshot it and cried myself to sleep that night. Did try out Power Wash Simulator Tomb Raider DLC. There are 5 levels. I am on the 5th level, which is the trophy room or the artifact room, T-Rexes and all kinds of cool stuff. Loving it. Almost done. Shouldn't have blown through it so fast because there probably won't be any DLC for a while. Hi-Fi Rush. Sean, did you try that yet? Hi-Fi Rush?
Not yet.
Some
I'll get to
awesomeness with rock music instead of metal, and great animation. Legitimately great animation. Other than that, I've got Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Tried that on the console, and they managed to make an RTS work with a controller. I'm amazed just as much as everyone else. And a little shining piece of gold. GoldenEye was released, and nostalgia-wise, I know Rachel, you probably got it for the Switch. You have multiplayer access, but over here on the Xbox side, we do not. And I'm going to beat it because I'm nostalgia and I love it. So GoldenEye will eventually finish. I'll finish it again, like I was a little boy again. That's what I've been playing.
Well, awesome. You know what else I've been meaning to get back into, because I kind of got out of it because of all the bugs, but I played it on my PC. I'm a console turned PC person, by the way. Totally pro PC now. But Cyberpunk 2077, that game, while the graphics are incredible, at its initial state, it was definitely crashing my computer probably every other playthrough, and it was very frustrating.
I was one of the lucky few who beat it in the first week on my computer.
Dang.
And I have not gone back.
Did you do side quests and stuff though?
I didn't finish it. I didn't 100% it. I did story, and I enjoyed it.
Okay, speedrun.
It was nice. I enjoyed it for the time I spent with it. Maybe I'll go back. But it's a great game all the way to the end. All right. That's really what we've been playing. Now we get into the namesake of the show. Rachel, your first experience with Test Your Might. This is Sean's like 5,000th attempt at Test Your Might. So we'll get it going. if you don't know, you guys do have an Uno reverse card, which you can play at any time throughout any of the debates. You just say Uno reverse, and then you trade arguments with the opponent. If you feel losing, you can say that and switch arguments with the opponent. Just know they could also say it and switch back. But yeah, on to the first debate.
Is it unlimited or only get like one?
Just one.
Okay.
Just one for the entire section.
Okay.
All right. Let's go on to the first debate. Well, guys, it's happening. After 22 years, Skyrim is finally made a way to the board game scene. And this board game looks incredibly difficult to play. But it is out. So your job is to choose a different video game, which doesn't have a board game, and pitch it to me. That's really it. Rachel, you're the guest. Would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right. I like it. Go ahead.
This may be cheating a little bit, but Mario Party needs to be into a legitimate board game. That was the first thing that popped into my head. How incredible would that be? But they'd have to level it up to that point that it would be just as fun to play physically. I think it'd just be cool to have.
Yeah, throwing punches at other people. Great. The friend
mini games
breaking...
in between.
Yeah. All right, Sean, what do you got over there? And then we'll switch back.
Okay. I couldn't go with my first one. Partly because we had talked about this beforehand, but my initial impression was Into the Breach. It already functionally looks like a board game. It has a lot of things where it's like turn-based, a lot of cool things, but someone made a fan game of it, so I'm going to discount it myself. And then my second instinct was a roguelike deck builder, but deck builders are like already kind of board games, so I threw that out too. And I came to the final conclusion, the best conclusion, which is Splatoon. I think there's a lot to be said about being able to make to have a board game where you are kind of doing territory control and like kind of having like sweet little very stylish minifigs going about their business.
I like both these ideas. These are great. Like Mario Party looks like a board game already too. Splatoon with territories. That's great. Rachel, go ahead. Tell me more about Mario Party. What would it look like? What kind of games? What would it feel like to play?
Well, obviously, I'd want to take it back to the OG Mario Party because I think it'll bring back a lot of nostalgia to the folks that it'll be geared towards. I want 8-bit. I want the graphics to be there. No, I'm just kidding. We could keep everything updated. And I guess what would be kind of interesting is trying to figure out the mini games in between, like what would necessarily be the mini game in between, but maybe it comes with an outside device or something that would each player could do. Or I mean, you could use like a cellular device. If most people have a cellular device that you could download an app. Wow, I shouldn't put all these ideas out there right now.
Perfectly fine.
Someone might take them.
Nintendo is probably not listening to us. Sean, Splatoon. Are you using actual paint or is it just like tiles and stuff?
So actual paint would be fantastic, but kind of cumbersome. The legacy version that will come out later will use actual paint because you're allowed to permanently change things with those versions. But we're going to initially start with some tiles. You probably just flip them over for like the two different colors, maybe some different sets just because sometimes you want the cotton candy color. Sometimes you want the the hot dog versus hamburger colors or whatever the heck that thing was. But I think the key of it is you got the minifigures that like have like a specific gun that has like a like you get a little character sheet that's like, hey, this, if you got a bow, here's how you like paint, and you have like 2 to 4 figs, I would say, and you're just trying to do some territory control over a set number of turns. And like if you do your move right, you can like flip the tile over to your color. Pretty simple, but seems like it could have some like great strategy elements to it.
All right. For this next one, I just want you to bash the opponent. So Rachel, just bash Splatoon. Why won't it work? Why is yours better?
I just feel like Mario Party is such a staple in many of our gaming communities. that Splatoon just came in a little too late. And, I think many folks would probably go towards the Mario Party versus Splatoon. I'm sorry.
Does have a strong fan base. I believe that for sure. Sean, go ahead.
Before I get in my thing, would this be classic Mario Party? I'm assuming yes, or are we all in a car together? Like the newer ones?
We're doing classic. We're gonna start with classic and then we'll roll up.
Okay. So you also have the 2-tier version like me. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so we can do expansions.
Oh, smart. That's thinking smart. I think the problem with the Mario Party is just so there are games that have like there are already video game adaptations that rely on a phone to help you do it, like XCOM. That's another game I kind of thought of, but there literally is already an XCOM game where you like are staring at your phone all the time. In my experience, those apps are kind of cumbersome. And if you're already turning your phone to play the main part of the game, which is the mini games for most people to play Mario Party, why not just play Mario Party? I think it just cut out some middleman. You don't need to pay an extra like $50 for this board. Because Nintendo's also going to charge you extra for that app. You know it. And it's going to be bad because it's Nintendo.
Without doubt. Special editions, you name it.
All right, one more back and forth. Use it how you will. Whatever you'd like. If you'd like to buff your own or crash the opponent's party, no pun intended. Go ahead. Rachel, go ahead.
Remind me. Oh, as far as our board games?
Yeah, you could either buff up your own or smash.
Honestly, I'd like to just give a compliment because it was really hard to have to go there because I thought that was an incredible idea, and I think that's gonna attract a lot of even more so of an audience because I think all ages really enjoy Splatoon. I mean, there's like 3 games now, isn't there? I wasn't big into Splatoon, so if it's obviously continuing on as a franchise that well, and I mean, I recognize it even though I don't play it. I think it would be a very good item on the market. And the way with tiles and everything, and then having that special edition with the actual paint, genius.
Great, Sean.
This is so nice. I'll go in kind. I think I like your idea too. Like the Mario Party, like becoming an actual physical Mario Party is something I think everyone that has been a Nintendo fan has thought of before, in like a good way. I think it's like something that people kind of want, a physical tangential thing. It's kind of like having a physical version of a book, maybe. I think maybe a good comparison. But I will say, when we come to the tangibility, I can get, as much as like I would love another excuse to get like a Princess Peach minifigure or something like that, a character figure. I think the Splatoon fashion just is so much better to have a physical copy of.
I'll relent.
All right, so I'm gonna break it down to this. Splatoon, awesome idea. Paint involved, crazy idea. I like crazy ideas. You know this. But I think it has to do with the amount of range you have. Because yours is a territory game, yes. But Splatoon is also a versatile game, or vertical game, not versatile, but vertical game. So you have different heights to play on, and boards are fun. So it's going to make it a little bit more stagnant on that. Also, it's just territory. The other game modes, just territory, just capturing the most spaces. And Rachel said, even though it uses a phone, even if it is cumbersome, you have amples of mini games to play alongside. And sitting around a board and seeing it happen in front of you is very, very like impactful for the game itself, right? So no matter what you're playing, if you're watching a screen or the board game, you're still getting that gratification. So I'm giving it to Rachel on the first game. Mario Party for the win.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much. I thought your version though was so much more constructed and cohesive though on the Splatoon. I kind of just went off the rails with the Mario Party. I got
It
really
was a good idea. It's definitely
excited.
good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's
Yeah.
a good
And
core
obviously,
idea.
A lot of people
ahead.
would want that to happen. Like a lot of people would love to have a board game version of Mario Party.
honestly, just to
Monopoly is,
even
for
look
example.
at, I would love just to have a replica of one of my favorite maps. You know,
You know how Monopoly gets with who's the banker and who's cheating and who's not cheating. The amount of star grabbing and coin grabbing that could happen with Mario Party would be just as insane. And it's also Nintendo property. So got it.
There we go.
All right. So neither of you have played in Hi-Fi Rush, I believe, which is a rhythm-based game that just shadow dropped on the Xbox. Well, you know rhythm-based games. You know Guitar Hero and so choose a franchise that's already made. Make a rhythm-based game out of it. Spin-off rhythm-based game out of an already developed franchise. We'll go losers in. So, Sean, would you like to go first or second?
I'm gonna go first, I think. Yeah. Franchise. Can a franchise only have one game in it so far? Actually, no, it doesn't matter.
The definition
I
of
just realized.
franchise does include one game.
Okay, cool. I also realized in the middle of that there is a second game being developed already. So Hades is my answer. I think it's kind of still in the same vein of Hi-Fi Rush. And so like we know that you can get some cool like combos chained together. It already kind of is like the way that the combat flows it has a rhythm to it. So I think changing it to be a little more connected to like rhythm first is definitely doable. And every time you do like a rhythm-based version of a game, you got to have like some kind of weird reason why it's a rhythm game now if you're taking an established franchise. And Hades fits right in being a mythic story that already has two musicians in it with Eurydice and Orpheus to give us just like an excuse to be doing musical stuff.
Rachel, go ahead.
Okay. I have a slight gripe about rhythm-based games. Now, did any of you, both of you, play the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game? And if so,
the music one with all the soundtrack.
Yeah. I was not impressed with the preview because I don't know, something just did not draw me in about that. So, like, it's almost hard for me, but if I had to think of one that we could make rhythm-based, I'm going to go back to Skyrim. I'm sorry, I love Skyrim so much. I think that it's such a beautiful album too. I listened just to the album on Spotify as well. But I think it'd be also nostalgic for a lot of people as well.
Okay. Sean, tell me how Hades would work. How would the gameplay change? How would the music incorporate to the gameplay?
Yeah. So I wish I'd played a little bit of Hi-Fi Rush instead of just watching the trailer for it, because I feel like again they'd be pretty similar with how you're kind of like hacking and slashing to a beat. I think it's going to maintain the same like type of combat, but like I don't want to change it to like a Necrodancer like a tile based thing. I think I want to keep the way that it is, that like there's no tiles involved. I think the main thing that's going to happen is, I think the thing that changes the most is the bosses. In that they already have like all bosses kind of already have a rhythm, but for this it's going to be much more like telegraphed learnable, and like when they fire and dodging is just going to be, it's going to be like a fun way for like fans that already love Hades itself to like be able to experience it in a different way, because even if it is like 60% kind of the similar thing, having it be on different rhythms than like the normal, I think is like a fun experience. And I think a lot of it is also just going to be getting like a different perspective character. I think the one thing I would take from Crypt, if I'm not taking the tiles, is like having different characters, because you have the Greek mythology setting there, and there's a whole bunch of characters everyone loves already in Hades. So like getting to see like Eurydice or Orpheus, like I was saying, or even like Skelly get in a mix, I think that's going to be the key difference.
All right, same question over to you, Rachel. How would the gameplay change? How would you incorporate the rhythm or the music into?
Kind of just to bounce off a little bit of that, I am a big fan of one-handed attack and being half mage. So you could have a variety of options as far as using combat-based rhythmic, combinations, or you could be casting illusion and conjuration or whatever, and it has to be within a certain beat to be able to get it out. And with that rhythm, you're also going to get a familiar theme, Dragonborn theme. You're going to start to hear reoccurrences of themes. I think of like Star Wars. Each character has their own theme, Princess Leia, Luke, etc., etc.
All right, Sean, go ahead.
I think the thing about Skyrim, and I don't want to talk down to you because you are the premier Skyrim expert here for sure.
No way.
But the thing I'm always hearing about Skyrim is it's enormous. The exploration is a key factor. I think having that heart of it be in a rhythm game is going to be extremely difficult. And the thing that is most important to me, I think it would also be extremely difficult. How am I going to take a break to catch a butterfly in the middle of a dragon attacking me in a rhythm game? That's like the heart of Skyrim to me, and it just feels very difficult to do something like that.
You did most in Skyrim is catch the butterflies?
It wasn't the most I did, but it was like the most Skyrim thing to me. Other than like major stuff.
Armor and collecting and beefing up my weapons and stuff. But I'll have to disagree with you on that one, because if you think of the main storyline of Dragonborn, yes, the game can be endless in a sense of you could be going out and doing Night Mother's bidding over and over and over and over again. But pretty much just have the main storyline in there. I never played fully through the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. I don't know what direction they took with that. I'll have to look at that after this, but I don't know if it would be similar.
One more sentence from each of you. Sean, one sentence. Use it how you will. No run-ons, no comma ands, just one.
You can't say that to a functionally English teacher.
No run-ons. Do I cram all the words in one sentence?
Dusa bounces to the lyrics.
Dusa bounces
like in those children's
lyrics.
songs. Like in those children's songs.
Oh, like you
or whatever, like on TV.
So like single
mm-hmm.
thing going across.
Yep.
Okay. All right. One sentence, like Rachel.
Combat-based rhythm.
I'm gonna ask a question, Sean. They're multiplayer.
Yeah.
Of course you would say that. Of course, because Hades 2 doesn't have multiplayer. And I want multiplayer, so that's why I asked. Like, I'm thinking Hades with the different weapons and them having different themes, kind of like just the exact same thing Rachel said with the characters and different. So it's like they're so like, if you go story mode on Skyrim with a beat, we've seen Hellsinger. You've played Hellsinger and you liked it, and that was a shooter. So we have the magic element as a shooter, but we also have like the fisticuffs. We've got the one-handed attacks that are doing beat. Oh God, that's hard. I'm gonna have to give it to Hades on this one. I'm gonna have to. That's a hard decision.
But is an excellent point as far as how diverse that game is, and I'd have to agree with you. I'd probably have a
to be
migraine just
honest,
thinking about it.
To be honest, like Hi-Fi Rush is diverse as well. It's not an open world game by any means, but it has side things you can do, and you can upgrade your armor and stuff in between levels. So there's plenty of give and take with that. So Skyrim is such a well-known property that it would work phenomenally to have that element in there. So, but regardless,
as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have went with the dragon spells. They like go like when the dragon shouts in a rhythm game would be sick. Yeah.
Goose roll, and it's like on beat, like that. Like I said, it's a hard decision to think about, but that's 1-1. On to the third debate. Having fun, guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Sims have been around for a really long time. You guys know the Sims. There was a new trailer for a new DLC that's coming out shortly. So there's been a lot of things added. But I want to know your expansion. Something you would add the twist. Because the craziest answer, like I said, I like crazy. Craziest answer wins. It's an expansion pack, so it's not a lot of content, but it's something that you can add to them, the Sims, to make it insanely crazy. Rachel, you get to choose. Would you like to go first or second on this one?
Honestly, I'd like to ask my opponent. Would you like to go first or second?
Oh, the kindness.
I can go first. I'm ready.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
And she just takes it from. She's like, no, I'm going.
No.
No way. No way.
No, go ahead, Sean.
All right. So this one was I thought it was gonna be more difficult for me because I wanted to not double up on like anything that was already like a mod that they could just turn into an expansion. And there's so many mods apparently for The Sims, and I didn't know what was real or fake because I haven't Sims since 2, I think.
Really?
But I found a niche. Yeah, I may have like accidentally like through osmosis for my sister. But since then, but I don't really remember. But anyway, my Sims DLC is you're gonna be the mob boss of your neighborhood or town, and it's gonna bring in like Crusader Kings style like politics to the Sims world.
Crusader Kings?
Yeah.
And you're a mob boss.
Yeah.
What's the, do you have Crusader a title Kings for your expansion pack? Or you want to think about
that's for round 2, baby. That's for round 2.
Okay. All right. Rachel? Go ahead.
So I've gotten caught up, and there is some pretty wild things, and it's actually pretty realistic as far as, but I've had my fair share of mods and messing around in the game, dating all the way back to when they would have like the college edition, the pets edition, the such and such edition. And, they did the careers in college. Honestly, I would take a travel edition, but put it from like a 3 to an 11. So we're going to have destinations. We're going to have to change the rating on this one because it's going to be that intense. There's going to be Vegas. There's going to be LA. There's going to be Amsterdam. There's going to be...
God.
That's how crazy this is going to be. And it's going to be how many of these places can you travel to, or quite possibly you could even do it more so like make them act like festival goers and they can be hippies.
Right. I like it. All right, Sean, why is Crusader Kings and the mob boss scene expansion better? And
so Sims, anything for family, is going to be impeccable because it's taking kind of, you're already focusing on like a cool collection of like a really like eclectic collection of people you're diving too much in on and like do some weird things for you. And they already like do some like neighborhood relationship stuff, but like they don't do enough neighborhood relationship stuff. And I think the thing here is that you can like again, the thing that does touch on like there is kind of like a gang mod or whatever, but that's not the same thing as being a mob, right? You're not running a show or anything. Like Sims currently you go to work, and as far as I know, you don't do too much with that work thing. But with the Sims Anything for Family, what you're going to do is you're going to be taking your Sims, and yeah, they're going to be maybe peeing themselves sometimes and like trying to marry the Grim, getting fascinated with the Grim Reaper. But in between all of that, the main thrust of it is going to be trying to set up an organization. They got to make their own involved job and try to figure out how they're going to take over their neighborhood and then expand beyond that. Because again, any successful operation is going to expand beyond just taking care of your own neighborhood. You're going to go to the city. And then I don't want to crib too much off of Rachel's stuff, but I mean, you know, like the mafia came from Italy first and now it's here. Like, obviously, we're gonna city trade too.
I hope you cleared it, Cicero, to talk about the Mafia Lord.
I'm taking a risk.
I have a counter argument.
Yeah, no, you keep going. It's your turn.
Would it not be at an advantage if maybe it was community based and then you invite multicultural like elements into the game? Not only are you staying to a specific area and zone, but you're able to venture out. Maybe you do it in levels. But I think the ability to go out and quite possibly make it relevant to the real world, I think it'd be kind of cool.
Rachel, tell me a little bit more about yours.
So basically it would just be like adult version, travel to as many populous cities as you can that you've heard crazy things about.
Okay. Well, changing the rating is definitely crazy. It's been E for a very long time, or T for.
It's gonna have to change.
You're gonna have to go to that Peggy 18.
Special edition, adults only, for the OG gamers. And also, mind you, my neighbors would be always constantly walking through my front yard. Constantly. Like they be coming, you know how they pop up out of the nowhere. And then all of a sudden my neighbors are there. And they frequently started doing it the more and more they needed communication as the game evolved. So I was like, hello, I've got studying to do. Why are you here right now?
All right, Sean. You both are gonna bash each other's once. Okay. Take down the M-rated Sims, Sean, and then she's gonna take down the mob boss.
Didn't he kind of already roast me?
A little bit. I want to feel the heat.
Oh, well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, M-rated.
Rachel's gonna take down the mob boss, is what I said.
You did say that. I don't know. It's just changing to M-rated. Like, mine could easily also be M-rated. That's not anything. I mean, like, it's hard to take down something that I've already forgotten kind of the main thrust of. So, I mean, if that's how forgettable it is that really that crazy?
Right, Rachel.
Sorry.
Dun, dun.
I'm sorry.
I think it's just something that goes with, with anything that fan base falls in and out. I just happened to stuck around a little bit longer and had friends that were also pretty obsessed with The Sims, and we had a lot of fandom surrounding The Sims. But mind you, yes, you have a creative outlook. I don't have a lot of bad things to say. Mind you, Justin did say make it crazy. So
that is true.
The probability of that game ever happening, no way. But in the in fantasy land, absolutely. That'd be fun for me.
And that is why the M-rated or Peggy 18 Sims is going to win this argument. Because Mob Boss is a little bit rooted home, It's something that is real. It's something that happen. Changing the game to M rating and making them go to actual places, never going to happen. Especially Vegas or Amsterdam. Those are never in a teen or. So
we do have games like Cyberpunk, though. We have games like Cyberpunk.
But that's not a kid game by any means.
No, we could think about it in terms of like The Sims, but boosted.
massive role-playing M-rated title. Yes.
Exactly.
All right. The blind fight. You guys have no idea what is going to happen. You both still have your Uno reverses. The blind fight. Are you ready? And Sean, you're going to get to pick first.
Okay.
This is which matters more in a game? Either the story / the narrative or the gameplay. Which would you choose?
This is going to hurt. Gameplay.
I know it's a hard choice. What? You chose gameplay? Right. That leaves the story / narrative for Rachel.
I agree. That was my choice.
John, go ahead. Why is the gameplay more important? I like it.
Look, I love stories in video games. I'm always out here talking about the little indies that are just read a whole bunch of things. But if they don't have a solid mechanical foundation, it doesn't super matter because you're not going to play through the story very well. Like, even visual novels, there is some element of choice that is like the good visual novels. They make those choices interesting, and they choose like good times to have you make choices, and like they integrate other things usually. Even like a butterfly soup has some extra stuff in it, and that's like the most visual novel. On the other hand, like the personas have a lot of garbage going on story wise, but the aesthetics are so good and the gameplay is so good that I went through them anyway. And I still think pretty highly of them despite awful politics, and politics are important to be in games. So mechanics are more important.
Now, just so you guys know, this doesn't mean the gameplay or the story is crap. It just means they're more important to that title.
Yeah.
Rachel, go ahead. Why is the story narrative more important than the gameplay?
It gets you emotionally invested. It's right off the bat. I mean, any game, any player, I feel like, or someone approaching any sort of material will want to gravitate to it and connect to it in some sort of way. And for as long as we can remember, cavemen, they were, writing things out. It may not have been video games and animation and things like that, but there was always a story behind it. And that story ended up creating the gameplay and the visuals and things like that.
Oh, let's switch. I don't want to get a debate on chicken egging story and gameplay in real life, because I think games are also ancient and could have stemmed more from things like hunting than storytelling. But anyway, although I am fascinated by that. Yeah. Anyway, I think
Didn't say it right. That's for sure.
Yeah. I've lost that. That's wholly sidetracked me. All right. Gameplay important. All right. Yeah. So even early games, you can get emotionally invested in something without any story at all. At least not any story provided by the game itself. Anything competitive, any competitive games, you can get emotionally invested in even just either your character or the outcome of the match or the outcome of whatever you're happening here, if the gameplay is good enough.
Is it emotional investment, or is it rather competition-based investment of basically you win or you lose, rather than, even in like Super Smash, each character comes from a specific storyline. They come from a specific place, specific game, which had a story.
Go ahead, Sean. That was a hard hit.
I mean, is it like, yeah, in Super Smash is also where I would go. Like, yeah, all of them have stories and stuff, but do they matter at all to...
Absolutely. I think they do, because it affects their weapon of choice or power.
I don't think like just because the background was there, and like so nothing about Princess Peach's story influenced her toolkit. What influenced her toolkit was her being in a bunch of sports games and like a mechanic that she had from another game. Her being a princess didn't really involve in her Smash thing at all, but I became mostly attached to her through Smash Bros. First, and then came to appreciate her in her game later. And I completely disagree that there's this binary between competition emotions and like other affectations in games. Like I Super Smash Bros. Comes to mind because like you can come friendships form just from like a straight up fighting game, even if you're only doing the multiplayer version of it.
You can feel it doesn't have to be binary emotions. It could be a vast variety of emotions, is what I was trying to get at. I wasn't trying to put it into a square, for example. But the whole concept behind Princess Peach was that she was constantly helpless, and Mario was always meant to go out and save her from whatever was going on, wherever Bowser took her off to. And I guess that's just how I connected and how I became attracted to the game. So I could see the other side as far as someone that would rather, go right in, know the combos, one hit them, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am, get on out. But a game that would be worth playing for me is going to have choice and it's going to have storyline. Like, I didn't even mind playing some of the Walking Dead huge,
Tales.
just, yes. It was a nice break.
Let's defend our own one more time. Sean, I ask you, why is gameplay more important than story narrative side?
Yeah. So even in Walking Dead, story that made me cry, so much that and in the winter that I skipped going to a college class because I was too busy with tears freezing in my face. That has it has gameplay elements that helped you get through the story and made certain like having to like aim the gun and stuff and as you're shooting the thing and choosing like what order to explore stuff are mechanics that are like tied together with the story. But if those mechanics sucked, you wouldn't go through this. A lot of people would not get through the story as readily.
Rachel, one more defense of your own story or narrative.
Sorry. Now, to rebuttal a rebuttal, what mechanics would necessarily go wrong as opposed to, I guess there could be poor storytelling, and the storyline completely sucks. And it's just very one-liner, no really beginning, no end. I think the first game that kind of pops into my head is Death Stranding. I don't know if any, that game was just weird. It was just weird.
Had a good story though.
But I played it. Yeah. It was tough, but I made it through.
I'm gonna call it there. God, this hurts to say. Sean, you won me over. When you were talking about the going into a game, playing it, not even having a story, I thought instantly Minecraft. Hands down, Minecraft is something that you create your own story, and the game didn't give you that. So you hit all those points, the points that I had in my head anyway. Sean, you got that, which means it's a tie. Means we go into the Metacritic score of the week. Rachel, you've never been here before, and for fans or viewers listening, I pick a game that we may or may not have mentioned tonight on the episode. And they try to pick a number, 1 out of 100, for the Metacritic score of that game. We play Price is Right rules. If you both are over, the closest wins. If you both are under, wins. So hopefully one of you doesn't go over, because then... this is the game that gave me that question for the blind fight. Release. It is called Forspoken. And that is for the PS5. What is the Metacritic score for Forspoken? And Sean, you won that one. So Rachel, you have to give your number first. 1 out of 100. Whenever you're ready.
72.
69.
All right. Sean?
Reverse.
Reverse?
Reverse.
Are you reversing as well, or just he's reversing?
No, just him, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Which means, Sean, you have 72? Rachel?
Yeah.
And Rachel has 69?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he reversed
Yeah.
it.
That's what I reversed. You can reverse it back.
The reverse.
Are you
All
sure?
right, great.
Okay. Back to the normal numbers.
I nailed it.
Sean, the correct answer is 65. You won
Wow.
69. Sean, that's a point for you, and that goes on the leaderboards for the Mighties at the end of the year. Okay, that's the Test Your Might section. Sean, anything to say to your fans?
To my friend, I have one friend and one
Friends and
fan
fans.
out there. They're the same person. Thank you for believing me. I need it today.
All right. On to the news. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
PS5s are finally available. Apparently on Amazon, if you're a Prime member, you can add them to your cart. And they are being seen in the wild in all kinds of stores across the nation. Let's hope that it is for good. Are either of you excited about a PS5 being available?
No.
Me either. No.
Oh,
It's the hype.
Sorry.
I am.
We got PCs, you know. Why
want
do
to
you
play
need
the
a
new
PS5
God of
for?
War. That's what it is.
Exactly. We got PCs now.
But God
We
of
got
War
Steam.
Ragnarok. But Silent
There's
Hill
plenty of
2.
dad games.
Silent Hill
There's so
2.
many dad games. It's fine. I've played Silent Hill 2 before.
The remake.
Uh
Never mind.
huh.
The only one. So since you are PC gamers, The Last of Us Part 2 or Part 1 for the PC, the port is apparently delayed 3 weeks. So we've got another delay on top of Star Wars. I don't know if either
Shame.
of you
Let's
are
just
planning on
hope
getting that.
they use the time wisely is all I ask. They're using that 3 weeks wisely. I don't want this to be another Cyberpunk, please. I beg them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Especially after the back of the show. You better make it work because a lot of PC gamers want to play that.
Mm.
Right. And other than that, we have the Ubisoft stock that plummeted. I believe it was 21% on Thursday after they reduced. That's insane. 21% their stock plummeted from canceling a few games. Crazy. That's a little corporate for you, getting into the numbers. But
Getting a little Wall Street here.
yeah, I had to mention it because a lot of people are Ubisoft fans. That happened to beloved franchises like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry. 21% is huge. All right, that's the news. It was quick. Didn't have a lot this week, but do have a gaming draft. This is a pick 3 draft. We take turns, one at a time. Sean, you get to decide the order since you won Test Your Might. And the draft of this week is the top gaming franchises of all time, which means if you pick one of the titles, you get all of that franchise. No one else can pick it. And if someone steals an answer, you have to pick a different one. Sean, would you like to go first, second, or third? And you can decide.
Do I want to choose violence?
That's always a question.
Oh, I mean, well, if Rachel thinks so, yeah, I'll go first.
I'm ready.
And pick Zelda.
Oh, jeez. That was violent. Okay.
That was.
Going
We
second.
went there.
Going second, Sean.
Justin.
Rachel.
Rachel can. She gave me that great idea. It's that great advice.
But she said Justin can go second.
I was like, Justin goes second.
Oh, well, no, she gave me the great advice of choosing violence. So.
Okay, all right. Facts. All right. I guess for me, it would probably have to be.
freaking out. And I have to go third.
It's hard. This is hard. I mean,
Well, two of mine are bound to get taken right now. That's what's freaking me out.
probably Assassin's Creed would definitely be one of them. I do. I
Take it off
really
my
enjoyed
list.
Assassin's Creed.
Eating my docket.
Hey, we had Legend of Zelda taken from me, so
I'm bringing the heat. I'm bringing the anger. My docket is freaking out. Final Fantasy, taking it off the list right now. All of the Final Fantasies are mine. Thank God. Sean, are you gonna turn the blade, or are you gonna keep going? What are you?
The blade turn's gonna come on the third one. But I'm gonna pick the Souls franchises.
Okay, the Dark Souls franchise.
it's a good one. I'm gonna go with the Pokemon franchise. It's a classic. Something I've gotten into very late, but I have a newfound respect for Pokemon. Truly.
Well, now that my list has completely expired, I'm gonna go with God of War. I'm gonna include the new ones and the old ones. I know it's not a big franchise, only like 7 games.
That's fine. Look,
It had good story.
My last one is about to be is going to be smaller. So
1 game.
yeah. The here comes the real knife turn. I'm about to throw it all away. I took Zelda, and for what? Because I'm gonna stick true to my heart and say Outer Wilds.
Oh, really? I'm gonna put because it's the Outer Wilds, right? So at least
I don't think it is.
which
Maybe it is. I don't know.
You don't know?
Maybe it is, I don't know.
You're picking it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, it's still the greatest. It's still one of the greatest games of all time.
All right,
It's just
Rachel,
Outer Wilds.
What do you got?
There's no get that out of here. Second guessing me.
Roll. I'm gonna have to say Call of Duty.
Wow.
Now,
COD?
hold on a second. I tried to get into it with Modern Warfare 2, and these kids are just too much. I just can't do it. I can't keep up. It's like with Fortnite. I tried. I really tried. But if it's squad based, yeah, I can get carried a little bit and help maybe once in a while, and we're all still having fun. People expect to carry me. But yeah, probably Call of Duty because I like the storyline. I would play the main storyline, not just the multiplayer.
Single players are definitely a good pull from a hat. I'm gonna go with Mass Effect. I think I'm gonna go with Mass Effect on this last one. Should I? Mass Effect is a get for sure. Okay, that closes the draft. We've got it in order: Sean, Zelda, Dark Souls, and Outer Wilds. Just wanted to get a "the" in there. Rachel, Assassin's Creed, Pokemon, and COD, Call of Duty. And for myself, Final Fantasy, God of War, and Mass Effect. Surprising, no one picked Halo.
You know what? That was a close, and Resident Evil Revelations.
Also Mario.
Mario. I mean, but that's
Huge.
the list that's right here is just so there's too many games that we could really sit and
Like
go
Mario
back and forth with.
encumbers so much.
true.
So,
Truly.
like the
That's true.
range on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the top gaming franchises of all time. You guys, fans, listeners, viewers, get to pick down in the comments who won that draft, or giraffe if you listen to me. Again, this was Test Your Might episode 105. Rachel, where can we find you? Go ahead and plug yourself. Where are you at? Go ahead.
I'm on TikTok. That's the platform I'm really focusing on right now. Content creation. You can go find me playing my oboe, my flute, and doing random lip syncs and other silly things at Playa Oboe. PLAYYAOBOE. It's not OB, it's oboe.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you had fun.
Thank you for having me. I had the best time, and thank you. It was great meeting Sean today, and It was a lot of fun. So thank you for having me.
Came up tied. It was up to the final score of the Metacritic. So you have the heat and you had the guts to answer the questions at the beginning. Sean, where can we find you? Here? Anywhere else?
You can find me here. We're reaching my annual time actually being in public on the internet again. Annual charity stream for my tabletop RPG. Twitch is happening March 3rd through 5th. On Twitch, it's Roll Plus Bond. It's going to be 72 hours starting Friday at midnight. I'll be playing a couple games and like running the stream for a couple of them. So look there, and hopefully donate to the good cause.
That's always fun. And you guys usually make some good money doing that as well. All right. That's been Test Your Might episode 105. If you are still here and you didn't hit that like button, do it now, please. Let us know how we did. Or if you have any ideas for debates, go ahead and send that over. We'll get that in here for you. Thank you for sticking around, Rachel, Sean, and the Duck. We'll see you next week. You guys have a great weekend and a great week.
You as well. Bye.
Yeah.